Hello, McFluffy52 here, back with more Magic the Gathering Arena content standard using Brothers War cards and trying to have some fun and win in some unique ways. Today I bring you a very kind of fun just pile of cards, and the pile centers around Ratadrabik of Urborg from Dominaria United, and it's a 2 generic, 1 white, 1 black 3/3 Vigilance Ward 2 Zombie Wizard. And it's a legendary creature, and it says other zombies you control have Vigilance, and then it also says whenever another legendary creature you control dies, create a token that's a copy of that creature, except it's not legendary, and it's a 2/2 black zombie in addition to its other colors and types. So this card is a lot of fun. This is probably one of my more favorite cards from Dominaria United, and I thought I would throw it together with one of my favorite cards from Brothers War, which is Kayla's Reconstruction. It's an X3 white sorcery that says look at the top 7 cards of your library, put X artifact and or creature cards with mana value 3 or less from them onto the battlefield, and put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So this lets you get in a bunch of creatures out of nowhere, and so you're incentivized to play a pretty creature-heavy deck. Well, that's just what we did, and this also incentivizes mana value 3 or less. So we got a lot of low-cost cards that are also legendary, so that when we legend rule them, they turn into 2/2 zombies. And so if you can get Ratadrabik out of here, and then you can get a copy of Ratadrabik by playing another Ratadrabik, then you're getting 2 of these legendaries, legendaries as non-legend 2/2 zombies. It gets really crazy really fast getting all these copies of legendary cards, which are usually legendary because they're just so good. Well, a lot of fun as well. So, in terms of legendary cards we have, this is just kind of a list of legendaries that I found in Abzan. So white, black, green. You could probably make this deck in white and black and just focus a bit more on including some non-legendary creatures or including some removal. If you include too many non-creatures, you're not going to hit much with your Kayla's Reconstruction, so you really want to keep it as creature-rich as possible. But you have Giada, Font of Hope, which is a flying 2/2 legendary angel for 1 generic and 1 white, and it allows you to cast other angel spells, tapping for it, and then whenever another angel enters the battlefield under control, it enters with an additional +1/+1 counter for each angel you already control. So if you start getting copies of this with Ratadrabik, those copies enter in with +1/+1 counters for the other Giadas that are on the battlefield. So this is really fun. It's also just a flying 2/2 with Vigilance for 2, which is not terrible. Another all-star card in this deck is Elas il-Kor, Sadistic Pilgrim. It's Death Touch 2/2, 1 white, 1 black, and it says whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life, and whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life. Well, we can get a ton of triggers flinging around with this, thanks to all these death triggers from legend ruling and creatures entering the battlefield because legends are dying. So we can really kind of just grind our opponent's health down while also keeping our health up there just by chumping with legend creatures and having them return to the battlefield. Lastly, we have 1 Katilda. I just had one of them. We have 4 Lorans of the Third Path. Just had 4 of them. It's a 2/1 Vigilance, and when it enters the battlefield, destroy target artifact or enchantment. So this is just nice because it acts as removal. If it dies and you get another copy of it, you get to remove another thing. Just ETBs going crazy. Another card that's pretty fun to have in multiples, Adeline, Resplendent Cathar, legendary Vigilance. Star 4 is its power, and the star is the number of creatures you control, and whenever you attack, for each opponent, create 1 white human creature token that's tapped and attacking that player, Planeswalker. So this can help us get even more creatures on the battlefield whenever we attack. If those creatures, because they're 1/1s, get chunked, we can generally make the opponent still lose 1 life because we'll have Sadistic Pilgrim. Next, we have some other kind of fun cards. We have Aron of Benalia's Ruin. I included it in here mainly because there's a legend in white and black. But its trigger is not that bad because if we can get a bunch of creatures on the battlefield, or if we want a copy of our legendary, we can go ahead, pay 1 white, pay 1 black, sacrifice another creature, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. So this can kind of pump the entire board. Never really got this going off yet, but I think it still has value, and it's just a legend in the right colors. This card is another all-star. I would put more of these in this deck if I could. King Darien, the Roman numerals. 1 generic, 1 green, 1 white. It's 2/3 legend that says other creatures you control get +1/+1. So if you can get copies of this, you're pumping up the entire team. That is amazing, that buffing your other people on your team. I would definitely say if you include more copies of this, it works really well. It's also really nice with Kayla's Reconstruction because you can Kayla's Reconstruction. You get a bunch of creatures that are summoning sick, but if you have a King Darien come out there and give your pump up your board, then suddenly you have a bit more of a menacing attack. So yeah. Another legend in bright colors, Torens Fist of the Angels, 1 generic, 1 green, 1 white. It's a 2/2 legendary human cleric. Whenever you cast a creature spell, create a 1/1 white green-white human soldier creature token with training. And training is whenever it attacks, if there's a creature with greater power that's also attacking, put a +1/+1 counter on it. So it can grow, it can create tokens, more things to chump. Always nice, because this deck isn't super fast. You're not really swinging out a whole ton. You're trying to kind of get your Ratadrabik out there and cast a Kayla's Reconstruction is kind of the game plan. Lastly, we have Queen Allenal of Ruadach, which is 1 green, 2 white. I think this card is actually pretty dang good in this deck. The problem is it starts out usually as like a 1/1 or a 2/2 because it says its power and toughness are equal to the number of creatures you control. So you play this out there, it's not very big, it might get cut down. But besides that, the second ability is very good because it says if 1 or more creatures, or 1 or more creature tokens would be created under your control, those tokens plus a 1/1 white soldier creature token are created instead. So this works well with Ratadrabik's token, legendary token thing, because then you get more creatures, which gains you more life with Elas il-Kor. Also pumps up Queen Allenal of Ruadach well, and also pumps up Adeline well. This also creates tokens, so kind of a nice synergy there. And then just whatever lands I could fit. Put 2 Rafine's Tower in here just because I figured I needed more duels for white and black, and then you can also cycle it, so that's always nice. Because we need 3 white for Kayla's Reconstruction, so definitely make sure you have enough white sources in there. Probably could play some of the healing lands, the ones that like enter tapped and gain life, but at the same time, you're already a slow deck, you really kind of need to get stuff out there. The pain lands are kind of annoying, but at least you have Elas il-Kor, so whenever you play a creature, you lose the life to pay the pain lands, and then you play the creature, you gain some life, so cancels out sometimes. Let's see if we can get this deck going. I just think it's a lot of fun, and we get to try it out in the reset standard ladder, thanks to it being December. Alright, who are we going to be facing, and what are we going to be facing? We don't have the mana to cast this, but we do have enough to cast this, and we do have the Kayla's Reconstruction. We don't have any black sources, but I think I'm going to give it a whirl. These are some pretty good creatures to roll out with. Torens. Gallagreators, that's a nice creature. That's a creature that you could put in a deck like this very well. Okay, we got 2 Elas il-Kors. That's good if we can find a Ratadrabik. We first need to find a black and white source. Luckily, we could just cheat it out with Kayla's Reconstruction if we get lucky. Oh, no, we found one. Let's go ahead. I think we'll play Torens regardless. Just kind of a nice card to have. can attack him with Giada. It has vigilance, doesn't really matter, and it's a flyer. Nobody plays reach or flyers that much, so that's another reason why Giada is just so good, so good. All right, we got the Ratadrabik. That was a lucky draw. We get a creature token. That's also just nice. They don't have much to really do here, unless they have Resolute Reinforcements, and then they could trade for Torens, but we'll get a creature token, because if they have Resolute Reinforcements, they could trigger the Alliance, put a +1/+1 counter on it. They did have 2 open mana. I feel like I'm talking so much. This deck is just so much fun. Alright, Adeline. That's a good one. I do think we want to get this going, regardless of how silly it might be to just kind of go in there with it. We're going to go swing in with a creature token, because it trains, and then also if it dies, or if any of our creatures dies, Elas il-Kor triggers, keep it going. It looks like our opponent unfortunately got land screwed, so they're done. Yeah. Not much they could do there. We just drew really well there, got lucky with the land, and then we're able to just kind of flood the board with creatures. Torens, you can see it making the tokens putting in work. Kind of nice. Just a big old value pile of creatures. Now, if somebody has a good response to creatures, or if they play a shield druid and start just draining us out without doing anything, that is not fun. We can fight creatures, we can fight creatures that want to fight, but and maybe we can fight some enchantments with our Loran of the third path. That can blow up. Enchantments. We do not have a ton of white here, but we only have 3 drops. We might want to mulligan. This is a tap land. This is also a tap land. What do we think our opponent's playing? They have this. They're probably playing counter spells. I'm going to take the gamble, and we're going to go with it. They're going to be playing blue. Blue-black. They're gonna be playing blue or black. I am taking bets. Hey. Look at me go. We'll just play this. We don't have anything to play. Give away our secrets. Consider we're a haughty Jin, a filthy haughty Jin player. I get it. Okay. I can play Queen Allenal Ruadach. Your Delver Secrets first. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, we can play Queen Allenal. Ruadach will tank a damage for playing it, though. That's not fun. Could play Torens and then a Queen. I think we'll go ahead and do that, because, well, it doesn't really make a difference. And then this is a 1/1. They're probably just going to bounce it anyway. They're blue. They're annoying. Bubs. Delver or Secrets. Alright, I'm a big fan of Ratadrabik, but they could have a counterspell here, so maybe I should actually play around it. I will do the thing where we pretend like we know what the opponent's doing. Thirst for discovery. Regret is being had, though perhaps they just actually had a counterspell and preferred to thirst. Torrens going in there. Nothing to pump it up, but hey, we got a pretty good white-green set of cards going here. If we play the Ratadrabik, we can play the next Queen. They have an Essence Capture, so they can counter the next creature spell we play. Fading Hope. Obnoxious. They got their flip. Just play the Queen, walk into their counterspell. We have a backup. We really don't want them countering the Ratadrabik. We get another creature regardless, which is great. Counter. Yep. Filthy blue player being filthy. Understandable. Alright, we gotta outpace our opponents here a bit better. We got a 4/3, we got 6 power on board now. Oh, no, they got a Haughty Jin, so we really gotta outpace our opponent now. Ratadrabik doesn't do much here. We could Kayla's. I think Ratadrabik, or this is probably the best move here. Adeline to get another creature, but they're playing defensive, so maybe we set up our take this moment of of uh, respite to set up a better board. Bounces a Torens. Filthy blue player. Could swing in for 4 damage, but they're just gonna double block. Or they can just block them with actually nothing, with like no consequence. Ratadrabik has Ward 2, which makes it a very nice card to build around because it's actually somewhat hard to get rid of. They're holding up 2 blue mana, so they're probably holding up a counter spell, making them very annoying. They're just waiting for their lethal, which... Filthy. Filthy. Filthy, I say. Filthy. If we get the Torens down and get it to stick, we get a creature for just casting. Ashen Scatter, yep, we're playing fun. We could swing in with all our tokens, but it doesn't make a difference. They're getting close to getting their lethal. Blue decks are very, very fun. We've gotten 2 bounces, 2 counters, a 1 cost Tolarian Tear because that's cool and balanced. Yep. And Ratadrabik. Let's go ahead and just spin the wheel because it's fun. Because I don't think there's anything we can do here that will actually take us back into the game. We're just kind of dead where it stands now. So, and they have a 1 mana negate. It is not a good game. You don't ever say good game, you crappy Haughty Djinn player. Triple training. Swing in, call it a day. Get our damage in. Make them witness the training animation. I don't know why the training animate. They actually have like a crazy animation for that. Boom, boom, boom. Do our. How much damage do we do there? Got a respectable amount of damage. Opponent playing with their filthy pliers. I do have to say, Haughty Djinn, Shieldred are some of the kings of Standard. Kings and queens of Standard. It's ridiculous. Too much value printed on 1 card. If you're not playing around them, you're probably not winning. Let's see though. Let's see. He's got the Jace avatar, so I feel like he's probably playing, or they're probably playing counter spells then. Filthy blue mages. This is a safe space for those affected by counter spells. We'll go play this so we can play the Elas il-Kor next. If they kill the Elas il-Kor, we cry. Oi, oi, oi. Well, this one's looking like an uphill battle, but we got some creature spawning cards and a Elas il-Kor, so we can get some healing going here, hopefully. Bump it on. We'll play this next, and then we can play Queen Allenal of Ruadach. Okay, we're playing Mechanized Warfare, mono red, of course, sure. Okay, is it good to block the Monastery Swiftspear here? Ooh, that's a tough one. Because we can gain 2 life next turn. We're taking a certain amount of life for... We're taking 3 for not blocking. I think it's worth it here. We would have gotten rid of it, and so we wouldn't have to worry for the future, but I think the Elas il-Kor is just too much damn value. Go ahead, swing in, get a token, gain another life, bing, bing. The question is, do we want to block the Monastery Swiftspear? We do have Ratadrabik waiting in the wings, so if we can wait another turn to survive. We need Ratadrabik, and then we can hold them back for blocking. We can swing in with the token to gain the life. Oi, 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 oi. That's scary.
Pal, I'm with the Gatewatch, so you might as well give up already.
That's 2 damage.
Watch me heat up
That's
the
1,
kitchen.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they got a lot of damage waiting in the wings for us, but we had something even better. We got Ratadrabik. That is what we love to see. Let's go ahead and try our best to kill this. We're going to hold back the stuff that does not have any vigilance. Gain a bunch of life. And bong bong. Dead.
Just when I was having a good time.
Alright, alright. We got a lot of life gain between everything. They got another mechanized warfare, so we're taking 3 from the air. Not ideal. They swing in with everything, which is certainly lethal, but we can just block here, and then these become token copies, and they lose their creatures. So, not exactly sure what our opponent was thinking here. We want this card to enter the battlefield first. Of course, we can make our opponent lose life, but we want to get our last il-Kor spawning in there first. We get another Ratadrabik. That is huge. We can swing in with both our creatures here, actually, but I think I'm actually go here and play this. That'll get us another token whenever things go. Swing in with everything that has vigilance, create another token, gain 2 life, knock our opponent down quite a bit. We got 3 damage in the air every single turn, so we gotta offset that somehow. We can play the Ratadrabik, and then we get 2 Ratadrabriks, and then everything is much more resilient. You can see how this legend, Ratadrabik and legendaries, like, you get so much value out of just the creatures being able to survive, and survive, and survive, and survive, and survive. You can just swing in with them, or chump with them, and you get a token copy. And then last il-Kor just goes crazy with the life gain and the drain. The life gain and the drain. Um, we could Born of the Third Path here to try and get rid of their mechanized warfare. Seems like a very good play. And then we can also play Aron of Benalia's Ruin. I think we also just have lethal, so I'm kind of trolling by playing this and not just taking the lethal, but they're a red player. I'm on a red player, so they could use some patience. No. I'm gonna play all these cards, and then we're just gonna swing it. Opponent perhaps not happy with their triggers. Should have taken the lethal. Maybe they're gonna. Nope. Okay. Go ahead and swing. Just let me attack. I'm sorry. I didn't notice I have lethal until after I started casting. And then I couldn't help myself. Forgive me. Alright. Gain 2 more life. Trigger City. And blammo. Yep, that is not going to be quite enough. And Ratadrabik's Reconstruction takes another victim. It is so much fun seeing Ratadrabik like create copies of things. It's crazy. I know that I probably don't sound as enthused as I actually am, but it's a blast. It could also help that we're playing in gold here. I don't really think there's that much difference in the ranks. Everybody's playing either net decks or uh, some sort of jank. We'll go ahead and keep 6. We don't have the Ratadrabik, so there's no point in keeping a clone. Play their Fiend's Tower. Could have played the Shattered Sanctum, doesn't really make a difference. Well, it makes a difference because the Shattered Sanctum comes in tap later. Raffine's Tower is always tapped. Another... Well, actually, I don't think I was recording when I played against enchantments earlier. Believe we managed to beat them just by the sheer chumping power of Ratadrabik and legendaries. They had the Jukai Naturalist turn 2 from a generous visitor turn 1, so things are not going ideally, but go ahead and play this. Swing in, see if they want to trade. We can create a token. That token will be useful later on, chumping. Play Torens next turn and then play King Darien. King Darien, I don't think I mentioned this. The sacrifice trigger is also very good in this deck because if you have a bunch of legendary copy tokens, you sacrifice this and then suddenly you have like half of your board is indestructible, which is very, very nice. Also, I guess you have this mana outlet here. Pay 3, pay 1 green, pay 1 white, create a +1 plus, or put a +1/+1 on King Darien, and create a 1/1. Of course, they have a turn 3 Hallowed Haunting. They're curving out like a madman out here. Go ahead and do our own curving out. Okay, well, we will not be doing any sort of that kind of curving out. I will just cry. Go ahead and swing with Adeline. Don't need to swing in with the last il-Kor. Prefer to keep it alive. Keep the life coming. Net 1 life on them. Actually 2 life. Thanks to the death trigger. Slowly working away at them. We have not drawn into any of our business at this point. If we draw into a Kayla's Reconstruction, that would be kind of nice, but we'd probably want another land so we can at least pay 2 into it. Because Kayla's Reconstruction is decent value at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you're paying too much, 7, you're probably paying too much. They give us a +1/+1 because they're generous and they're trolls, and they exile. We do have Loran of the Third Path, which could blow up some borrowed times and start getting pretty crazy. We get Ratadrabik, huge, it has Ward 2, can start jumping and swinging with our legendaries. Adeline, gotta back up 1 in the wings. Do not have any green mana to cast these. The lands are definitely, playing a 3-color deck, especially the ones without the triomes, is a bit unfortunate. They're going to go ahead and exile Ratadrabik. Waste 2 of their mana, but it doesn't matter. They have Jukai Naturalist. Everything is free. And we continue to cry. They swing in with a bunch of stuff. We take 10 and cry. You can see our opponent curving out here just a bit better than us. We don't draw into a land, but we draw into a Kayla's Reconstruction. Not quite what we want at this point. Loran of the Third Path would be very good to blow up the borrowed time because it says destroy target enchantment or artifact when it enters battlefield. And if we blow up the Ratadrabik, if we chump with it the following turn, we can blow up the borrowed time that has our Adeline in it. I think we're quite literally just dead here in the trenches. Secures them a pretty solid board of whammo. Is any sort of blocking going to save us here? They should have just swung them with everything if they wanted to guarantee lethal, because we can actually chump our way out of this, but there's hardly any reason to, because we're probably dead the following turn. They have 21 damage between these. Not quite enough damage if we double block here. Bit of a dumb move on their part. Get the game over with. Don't give your opponent a chance to go ahead and cast a Depopulate, because if I had one of those, they would be crying. I guarantee it. Go ahead, Kayla's Reconstruction for 1, just for fun. Well, what do we get? A Loran of the Third Path. Alright, that's pretty good. Let's go ahead and assert dominance by taking our Ratadrabik back. Out of the dawn sky, that just seems like it's kind of random, but it is the spirit, so I guess that works. go ahead and chump something here with the Loran and ouch. Just a bit of damage from Naya, or not Naya, Selesnya enchantments. They had a wonderful curve, so it's a bit understandable why we would lose to them. They went from probably their best turn 1, from their best turn 2, to their best turn 3, and then it doesn't really matter after that point because they just had to play enchantments and triggered Hallowed Haunting and their Generous Visitor. Naya enchantments, or not Naya, oh my goodness. It used to be Naya. Naya runes, oh my, that was a deck. Last il-Kor, Giada, Font of Hope. Kind of like this hand. We got all the colors of lands. Play this one, it's tap, and then we can play an untapped land here. And then shock ourselves. Yes. Ouch. It is what it is. That is kind of a pain, but go ahead and get rid of... Giada, we don't really have a good time to play because now we're going to be playing 3 cost. Go ahead and play an Adeline, so if they get out a, what is the card called? It's the 3-mana Planeswalker Liliana. If they get that out there, we'll have the token to sacrifice. And then we can go ahead and play a Queen Allenal Ruadach. So they might just tick up at that point, but if they play it and tick up, that's kind of bad regardless. Token Miasma, pretty lame. Alright, we survive. We pay our life. Ouchie ouchie. Generate 2 tokens. Swing in for a whole lot of damage. Next turn we swing in for a whole lot of damage. If they don't have another board wipe. Choking Miasma. Very cool. I guess they're just designed around our deck. I once made a deck that had a bunch of like simple board wipes like this. It's not good. They just got very lucky to be playing against us. Alright, we'll go ahead and play the Ratadrabik, pay our life. It is what it is. And then we'll swing in with everything here, I think. Didn't really block anything here, we just get our damage in, call it a day. If they do get in their well, they could block that, but we still get the token copy, which is huge. And then we can play this non-legendary one and get another 2 tokens. As long as they don't have another Choking Miasma. We don't need Loran of the Third Path. They have not been playing any sort of enchantments. Each opponent sacrifices a creature unless they discard. Each opponent sacrifices a creature unless they discard a card. Sacrifice a creature. Well, a token's not that cool, so it can go. And then we can go ahead. I like how as soon as I say they don't have any like artifacts or enchantments. Well, I guess I was thinking mainly of artifacts. Yeah, you can give us a blood token for all I care. It does not matter because you are dead. Ugh, alright. Aggroed them down with just some tokens and a little bit of redundancy. Yep. Ratadrabik. Putting in the work, getting us a double Adeline. Adeline is definitely one of the nicer ones to copy with Ratadrabik. It looks like the token loses the whole. Its power is equal to the number of creatures you control, which is understandable. But still cool. Token with a good passive. Alright, we got all colors here. We don't have a good. No, we have a 2-mana play. It taps for mana. Wait, it's a bit of a ramp in a way. Play the Ravine Tower, tap land, and then we can play this, and then we can play this, and then we have 4 mana, and we can play this, I think. Not exactly what I would call normal, but Alright, our opponent's gonna probably shoot the Katilda, and then we give up and play this, or we play this. Virus Beetle. Okay. Not a big fan of that card. You don't generally have enough time to pay the mana to sacrifice. Ratadrabik down, get it out of our hand before they make us discard our entire hand. We do need more mana. These create humans, which works well with Katilda, because Katilda says humans tap for mana. There we go. Human creatures you control, tap, add 1 mana of any of this creature's colors. To create white human tokens, we can pay white mana, and then trigger it into Kayla's Reconstruction. Bloodtithe Harvester. So it looks like we're just kind of a Rakdos value deck on the opponent's side. And by value, I mean kind of just make people discard. Might go ahead and just pay 2 into this. Actually, we'll go ahead and play Adeline. Don't have to pay any life, thanks to good old Katilda. We'll play a life for this. Next turn, we can go ahead and do whatever. Ratadrabik, we don't really want to swing in with, so we're not going to actually get the Adeline trigger or the whole tap feature, but we can tap Adeline next turn. Opponent thinking about what they want to do in response. They have a cut down, perhaps? Nope. Just holding up the blood token, I guess. What will it be? They have enough to kill our Giada with their Bloodtithe Harvester. If they get more, they can potentially kill Ratadrabik, but they also need to pay the 2 ward cost. Infernal Grasp, very lame. We will deal with it. Alright, down a creature, but we still have Adeline here as a 3/4 huge value engine. We got Bloodtithe Harvester, Virus Beetle. I'm just gonna hold it up. Alright. I'm gonna go ahead and pay 3 into this, because we actually can tap our creatures, which is very cool and very fun. Go ahead, get ourselves a... yeah, we'll go ahead and get ourselves a couple duplicates here. Would have been really nice to have the Ratadrabik in play, because then we would have gotten token copies, and the Giada would have been a 3/3 flyer, because it would have died and then created a copy, and then it gets a +1/+1 since there's the other one existing. We'll pick Torens and then let these go to the bottom of our deck. Unfortunately, we really hit all the cards that we already had on the battlefield. Get another human here. If they don't block the human, which they can block it with the Bloodtithe Harvester, it does not really matter. We get more mana if they don't. Can pay to pump our board with Katilda, because Katilda's other ability, 4 green-white, put a +1/+1 on each creature you control. Kind of similar to that card that we discarded here. +1/+1 on each creature you control, but you have to pay black and white and sacrifice. This might be actually kind of good in a, what do they call that? Mardu deck. Oh, they managed to get their second blood token. Got their anvil going. Yeah, you could probably put this in like an anvil deck. Just go ahead and tap. Put a +1/+1 on everything. Make it a bit more resilient. Also make our flyer hit in harder. They got a lot on the ground. They're going to have a lot on the ground. Can't really play our Torens without just legend ruling it, and then we get a token off of it, and that's it. Really would like that Ratadrabik back. Fortunately, our opponent happened to have a piece of spot removal. Looks like the only one that they managed to have. Well, besides the Bloodtithe Harvester, which is removal on a stick, which is always good. Yep, removal on a stick keeps going. The gift that keeps on giving. Atsushi, so now they have a flyer to block out the sky. Looks like we might have just lost this one. Oh. Please hit good. Only paying 2 into this. Don't really have an option to pay any other way. Here we go. Lorna of the Third Path. That's huge. Elas il-Kor is also one of my favorite cards. Don't know if the Adeline is really what we need here. Let's see. Adeline gets us a pretty thick, um, like defender, and then Elas il-Kor though gets us value in terms of we can kind of like we'll get no these two. We get destroy this. Yep, bye bye Anvil. Flyer stays back. Still missing our Ratadrabik. Making it do a bit without it. Childred, oh no. They're playing about everything good. Well, that's the best thing about black. Children. My other arch nemesis. We will not be blocking. I will gladly take that, and then I will swing it on your face. A draw. Oh, Loran of the fifth path, or third path. Might as well be the fifth path. You and me are both going to draw. It's going to be painful. It's going to be great. Yeah, that was great. I know. It was my signature move. I'm glad you liked it. Please block it. Yes, block it with Shieldred. Ignore the death touch. I said ignore the death touch. Ignore the death touch. Okay, fine. You insist on not ignoring the death touch, but... Ow. We have to shock ourselves. We get another creature token. Wish those resolved in different orders, but... Probably just dead to a good old Shieldred. Shieldred plus, Lorna of the Third Path plus Love Song of Night and Day would be a very fun kind of deck. Shieldred says your opponents lose life if they draw a card. This can make your opponent draw a card. Love Song of Night and Day, I don't know if it gives your opponents a choice to draw a card or it forces them to draw a card. I think it forces them to draw a card. So that's another way to just drain your opponents out. Love Song of Night and Day also creates birds, or like a bird, and then puts +1/+1 counter on 2 creatures. It's one of those read-ahead sagas from Dominaria United. Yeah, Dominaria United. And Lorna of the Third Path. Pretty good card. Just don't see it played because, well, it's a human artificer, it's not a soldier, and it's in white, and then, oh wow, there's a million great things about 3 drops in white. Or just 3 drops in general. And they go ahead, Volt Surge, another one of our creatures, randomly. Interesting. Phyrexian Dragon Engine, we're just throwing in everything. I think they have just as much of a value pile as us, but they pick different colors. They're throwing in the Shieldred, which I don't think is something they want to do, because I'll block with the last il-Kor, the Pilgrim, and then I can just go ahead and chump everything else. You can keep your sushi as you please. Yeah, it was a bit of an oops, admittedly. Well, draw a card, dude. Think about it. Alright, well, that's lame. Alright, well, we'll just go ahead, swing in, get the training. It was a bad idea, because now we just have to play the Lorna of the Third Path in our hand put. What else were we going to do? Legend Rule, take the one that's untapped, destroy the Phyrexian Dragon Engine. Actually kind of good for them. They say good game. It is good game because they probably have a Lightning Bolt in hand, or an Oni called Anvil, or just they win. Because they generally win. Though they said good game, so they seem upset or happy or... Ah! Now they drew enough burn. Fair enough. Fair enough. Discard, discard. If they don't get us this turn, they get us next turn. Yeah, Phyrexian Dragon Engine was maybe not the best thing to shoot down. I don't know if there's a May ability. No. No May, it is a must. So, kind of forced ourselves into that play, which was kind of sad. But, oh, it is Trample. I completely forgot that's what that dragon did. My bad. Alright. That was a pretty sloppy match. Kayla's Reconstruction for not much, multiple times it felt like, and then yeah, we felt the problem of playing a bunch of legends without a Ratadrabik. We got Ratadrabik, we got all the colors, we got 3 mana, we got 2 Giadas, we got a 2-drop, a 3-drop. It's pretty good for this deck. Opponent playing blue. Blue? That's not okay. Holding up a Make Disappear, we'll play a Giada straight into one and cry, or an Essence Scatter, or Essence Capture? Is Essence Capture only 2 mana? Counter a creature, put a +1? No. Giada makes it to the board. Just to come back again. It was a solid tempo play. Make us tap out. They get to scry. So I imagine they might have wished they have that bounce spell for a more valuable target. But hey, they're blue. They draw cards. They don't care. They do not care. One thing about blue is they do not care. Counter spell. Make disappear. That was missing last turn. Very sad to see Adeline go. Probably one of our better cards. Probably should have. I could have played around it. Played the Giada again. Go ahead. They have 3 mana open. We have 3 Ratadrabiks. Just send it out. Consider they're hoping to draw into to make disappear, perhaps? Did they draw into it? No, they did not. Okay, so if we can draw another land, we can Kayla's Reconstruction for 2, or we can double play our Giadas and get a 2/2 and a 2/3. Or a 2/2 and a 3/3. My bad. Da 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 da. Ba 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 ba. Counter spells are lame. Okay, good. The special chant worked. Opponent letting us gain life. Very nice and very kind of them. Good. Swinging with Ratadrabik. Show them what vigilance means. Haughty Jin. Haughty Jin. Go ahead, let Giada die. There's no reason to let it live. Pump it up, slip it out the back. That was kind of a waste on one of their less good cards. Go ahead and play Ratadrabik here. Go ahead and Legend Rule ourselves. Keep the one that has no summoning sickness. Drain our opponent. We can go ahead and play Giada, Legend Rule, or previous Giada. Because it's tapped now. We get 2 Giadas, which makes a 3/3 and a 6/6. Swinging with the Ratadrabik. Oh my goodness, Ratadrabik, go crazy. Sheesh. Swing in, we get a copy of Ratadrabik, it doesn't matter, we have a 3rd one in hand. We get to drain our opponent even more, gain more life. Now they got there. And they surrender. Now that is what this deck is about. Oh my goodness. Ratadrabik, an absolute menace on the battlefield. Giving you the 6/6 Font of Hope. Oh my goodness. You can see, getting 2 Ratadrabiks makes your Giada go crazy. Alas, il-Kor, just amazing with the Legend Rule and the tokens that you generate. These 3 cards definitely very good. Do think there's tweaks you do about the deck. It is just basically a legend pile in Abzan. Alright, I'll play one more game and then we will go ahead and see about wrapping up. I hope you really enjoyed the deck. It was really fun to make. I have to say, I'm not good at making decks, I will say that. It takes me so many tries to come up with something that's like, okay, maybe this is good enough. Because like you can do like an against the odds kind of deck, like, ooh, I want to do this card combo in particular. But doesn't always doesn't that makes for not very fun decks to play and not decks that you can play in like well, not very fun decks to play because unless you really enjoy the combo, like, it has to be something that you really want to see happen. Go ahead, play Katilda, and then we can start creating a bunch of tokens that will tap for mana. I like this. I like this. Yes, we'll burn ourselves. They might just Volt Surge or Katilda. In that case, we cry. Or they have, what is the, not Obliterating Bolt. They could have that one, but that's a sorcery, I think. There's another one. It's a 1-mana red one that exiles, and it does 2 damage. Oh, can't remember. Okay, well, it's Volt Surge. Alright, fair enough. We have Lorn of the Third Path, so we probably want to hold that off until we see them play an artifact. The fact that they're playing red and black, they're probably playing Anvil, but they're also playing green, so they're playing Jun's Sacrifice, I'm gonna bet. That deck is very popular right now, I think. Go ahead, pay 1 for the white mana. Play Queen next turn. Play Adeline, or play Adeline and then Queen, I think. Or no, Queen and then Adeline. Yeah. This gets us the most value. Though we don't even have the white mana for Adeline anyways. So we can't actually cast either this or this. Guess we'll just play this. Volt Surge, Volt Surge. 2 more to go. Not as if they're playing a full copy. Jun's Sacrifice, they... do nothing, play Shieldred. Win game. Very cool. Fair enough. I was playing the wrong cards, my bad. Painland's really coming back to bite us at this point because we are burning at both ends. Cruelty of Gix. Checking out our hand, probably. Gonna say goodbye to probably Queen. Can't play like either. We can't play either Adeline or Aron. And then we have 2 Lorans, so don't get rid of Loran. It's already legend ruled. Though we can blow up their. What the heck? What? Have you ever seen anyone play that card? I think that's a good sign not to make them discard it. Like, it would have been a safe thing to discard Adeline. I think that would be the card that I would take. I'm mystified. Boom, lose life, cry. We gain a token, a nice chump blocker. Blow up their thing, you don't get to search for no nuttin'. Smack them in the face. Now we can play either of these. They're going to be painting ourselves to play so. Queen is probably the best play, and then Adeline, because, well, we have these tokens that we're generating from Torens, and so if we play the Adeline, we get 2 tokens, since we get the Queen trigger. Katilda would be really fun right now because, well, we have 3 humans, so that's 3 more mana, so we can cast whatever we want. Soul of Windgrace. Of course, they found their, they just found their sack land, so, you know, they get to return a land every freaking turn. A little lucky. Contemplating what it means to be Loran of the Third Path. We'll go ahead and say goodbye to Loran, I think. So it is a card draw. We have a second one in hand though. The token is just a token, but we'll go with this. Actually, we'll go with the token. We'll go with the arm or the token. Yeah, this makes featured plays less of a difficult choice. Alright. Lose 2 life, lose a life. 0 life remaining. Unfortunate. Ooh. Ooh. Huh. Can't attack in because if we lose a creature, we can't chump block the Shieldred, though the opponent at this point doesn't really need to swing in Shieldred because we're dead regardless. Good old Shieldred sits on the board for 2 turns, drains you for like 4 life. It's a 4 cost, by the way. Unleash the Inferno, that feels bad. They don't get the second part of the Unleash the Inferno, which allows them to blow up artifacts or enchantments. They swing in, we cry, rinse and repeat. Oh my. Ugh. We're stuck on lands. How many games is that we've seen Shieldred? Might as well. Go ahead and punch her face. Ah. Block Soul Windgrace, have it die. Chump Shieldred. They might just have Volt Surge or something. Really, they just have to hit us in the face for 1. They can also draw with with Reckoner Bankbuster to find another spell, which hopefully they do, and open up their eye. They go ahead and do that. Mouse is hovering over Kiki Jiki, blocking everything. Is there a kill spell for lethal? They attack in with 1 creature. They can give Soul of Windgrace indestructible here. That's probably what they're holding up. Soul of Windgrace has mana abilities that say discard a land card, pay this combo, and one of them is indestructibility. So in that case, what do we want to do? We're pretty dead. We'll force them to have it. If they don't have it, they swung in for a trade, I guess? I don't know. Play Loran of the Third Path, assert dominance on the Kiki Jiki. I think that's a solid plan. If we had a last il-Kor here, this game would have been playable, but Shieldred's Drain is just not reasonable. Go ahead and concede now that we have broken their soul. This video has been a nice up and down win lose win lose win lose. Well, hopefully you enjoyed the deck. Go over the deck real quick again, or do a little post game wrap up. Ratadrabik's Reconstruction. Now, is Reconstruction the best card to have in this deck? I think it's not bad. You generally want to be playing low cost creatures. I would say you can definitely keep it in the deck. I think it's also just such a fun card. I would say you might want to go ahead and drop these. Instead, go for Lumin. Okay, maybe I misspelled it. It is Veteran. Oh no. Nope, keyboard is hard. Veteran. Luminarch Veteran, so you could probably go ahead and drop these for Luminarch Veteran, get yourself a lot more life gain in there, keep yourself going. And then, besides that, maybe you shuffle these around a little. No, no, no. I think this is pretty good setup. Get rid of these, swap these out for Luminarch Veteran, get some life gain in there. Um, and then if you can adjust the land base so that it's a bit more of these tap lands and then untap lands uh if they enter late. That way you don't have to shock yourself maybe as much. Though granted, these are well, we got a lot on turn 3 and turn 2. If you get this on turn 1, you're gonna want plains in hand or one of these shock lands. So it is a bit of a mess, but I think that's probably one of the upgrades you can do to the deck is just get yourself more life gain because Shield Druid is a menace. And if you can keep gaining life with ETBs from Ratadrabik or just Adeline and Queen and Torens, you're going to probably be doing alright. Darien, very fun card. Um, Maybe worthwhile keeping in and upping to 2 and maybe dropping the Katilda. The Katilda is nice for the mana. I don't know if we used it in this video. I did use it the second ability in a previous game where you put +1/+1 counters on each creature you control. Very nice for just pumping up like Giada and stuff like that. And we do have a whole ton of humans with Torens, King Darien, Adeline, Loran, and Katilda. But you might be better off with King Darien, getting yourself slightly bigger creatures that you can actually trade with. Il-Kor is good for its death touch as well, so maybe you lean in more into like death touch, or you could potentially go for a more interesting combo of cards where it's like fake your own death, or cards like this where if it dies, return to the battlefield, tap. That way you can like legend rule and then get it back and then legend rule again. That could be a potential fun combo. A fake your own death is a bit of an expensive one, but I think you can get a cheaper one here. Of course, I click on the most random thing. But I believe there is a cheaper version of fake your own death for 1 or 2 mana. It's a black instant or sorcery. Uh, where? Return. It's gonna be returning to the battlefield. Undying Mouse. When this creature dies, returns to the battlefield tapped under its own owner's control with a +1/+1 counter on it. So this is probably what you would want to go for. It's 1 mana, so you can weave it in there a little bit easier, because 2 mana is kind of expensive. You don't really need it coming untapped, and you don't really need the treasure token. You just want to be able to actually cast it on like a legend when you're about to legend rule. Um, though, I don't know. I don't know if you can cast that in response to the legend rule. Though you can cast it on the one that's on the battlefield. You might have to hold full control to cast it on a legend after it enters the battlefield before the legend rule trigger appears. I don't know how the legend rule like trigger appears on the stack or whatever, but yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to like, subscribe, uh, follow me on Twitch on Twitch at McFluffy52. Occasionally streaming there, so you can catch me live, ask me about a deck, or maybe you have some interesting suggestions. Feel free to leave them in the comments below. And I will catch you all next time. Have a nice morning, evening, night, afternoon, whenever or wherever you're watching this from.